Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. We got something a little different from our typical reviews for you today. This time around, we're going to be bringing you a review for the Pacific Rim Uprising Obsidian Fury figure from Diamond Select Toys. So let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first. And up top, you have your choking hazard and a little view panel up there. You've got Pacific Rim Uprising. There's your display. Down here you've got some nice artwork, Obsidian Fury. Over here, not much, Pacific Rim Uprising action figure. Back here on the back, you do have a little bit of a bio, so I will hold that still so you can read that. And coming on down here, you've got Legendary Pictures, Pacific Rim, Diamond Select Toys. Over here on this side, Pacific Rim action figure. Down low, you have some additional information, and you do have the sad baby. It's always good to see the sad baby, and well, the baby's sad because that baby just does not like kaijus. I mean, I can't blame him. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and see what came inside that box. Behold, laid out here before you is everything that came inside that box with the Obsidian Fury. And if you're feeling a little underwhelmed, it's completely understandable. He doesn't come with much. What he does come with, though, I think is pretty cool. So he comes with an extra set of hands. So right now I have them kind of mixed and matched. So he does come with 2 fist hands and 2 open hands. And on the figure, I just have 1 fist hand and 1 open hand. That way it gives us an opportunity to get a nice close-up of the individual hands. So let's go over here and we'll start with the fist hand. And I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's well detailed, and I do like the feel of the plastic. You get that little splash of paint right there. And then coming on over here, you get some sculpt work. And that's what it looks like coming on. If it's going to punch you, one of those. And then inside, they've even taken the opportunity to paint the nails in there. And then there's the underside. And it just pegs on. There's no magic to it, nothing special. It's just a peg. But you do have a joint right there, so you can move. It's very tight. Move that. Move it a little bit, and then outward a little bit as well. And then, of course, you can rotate it once it's on there. All right, so moving on to the next hand. This is definitely my favorite. This kind of looks like a Black Panther hand to me. It's kind of what it reminds me of. So you get the same paint there, but then you get these sweet, sweet claws. Looks really good. These are not articulated. It's just molded. But, man, this thing looks good. It looks like it could really tear through some kaiju flesh. So there you go. All right, so that's not much when it comes to the accessories, but I think he does have some pretty cool hands. I was kind of hoping that the chainsaw blades would be removable, but at least to the best of my knowledge, you can't take those off. So, but let's go ahead and jump into the details on this guy and take a look at him from there. Here he is, the darkest, angriest Jaeger that's ever been developed in the Pacific Rim program. This is the Obsidian Fury. So let's go ahead and bring him in and take a look at those details. We'll start up there at that head, and I really do like the details in this figure. I like the coloring and the finish that they put on the overall character, the armor, that kind of stuff. Just looks really good. The orange, of course, signifying the light up area, the power, and good sculpt work all the way around, and even on the backs and the side of the head, or the back and sides of the head. You got some good sculpt work there. Looks pretty good. Coming on down to the chest. Good, decent amount of sculpt work there. You do have some mechanical detail down there in those hips. And then coming down to the legs. I like what they've done here with the legs. So you have these open exposed areas right there. And then on the front, just a little bit of a light up area right there. Coming on down to the lower legs and the feet. A little bit of detail on the inside. And some decent sculpt work on the feet themselves as well. A little bit of silver in there. Coming over here to the side. Taking a look there. Everything is looking pretty good. Got some nice panels right in here. And then up underneath. Pretty good amount of detail as well. Coming up here to the arms, so you do have these separate shoulder armor areas. These kind of get on my nerves, especially when we get into the articulation. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but they can get in your way and they come off pretty easily. But as far as the look goes, they look all right. Arms look good. This is almost reminiscent of Black Panther right here in this area. And on the insides of the arms, a little bit of detail there. And then, of course, you have those chainsaws. Looking really dangerous. All right, and coming around to the back, he looks cool in an alien kind of fashion. It's humanoid, but it's definitely an alien look to it. So, and by alien, I just mean different, unusual, not the norm. So, yeah, you've got the spine right there, and then all that detail in the back. Looks good from every angle. So I do have to say that I do very much enjoy the way the figure looks. Now, when it comes to articulation, I'm not the biggest fan of this figure. It's got some unusual things going on, but let's go ahead and review that as well. So up here at the head's on a ball joint, so you get a decent amount of down. That's as far as you can go up because he runs into his, I don't know, the protector back there, his collar. And you can turn to the left that far and turn to the right that far. I mean, you probably get away with turning it all the way around, but then you're going to pop it off that ball. So I'm going to try to avoid doing that. Shoulder pads. So these shoulder pads are on these little tiny ball joints in there. I don't know if there's going to be enough light to show that off, but they're right up in there. They're super easy to pop off, but because they're on that ball, you do get some range of motion here. You can bring them out, you can bring them forward, you can bring them down a little bit, you can bring them, flare them up like that to help with the arm. But really, that's as far as you're going to get up with the shoulder before you start popping those off. And I don't know, maybe in there you can kind of see that little L shape where you've got that ball at the end that that shoulder pad fits on. So I've discovered that, you know, if you take it too far, they pop off easy, but they don't go back on very easy. So that's a little bit of a pain, just something to be aware of there. So as we stated, shoulders are going to come out that far. And you've got a couple of joints in here. Trying to find the best way. So you have a butterfly joint right there. So, hitting my camera. So you can butterfly this guy right there. And then you have your ball for twisting right there. So you've got that bicep joint. And then as part of the butterfly, you have your shoulder rotation. So you've got a few things going on up here underneath that shoulder pad. Then your bicep rotation, you can go out that far and then come back in about that far before it stops. And then down here at the elbows, you're going to get, if I can get it bent all the way, you're going to get about 90 degrees right there. Now you do have these double joints, but because of the shape of the arm, you're going to run into things. So it's not as much benefit as you may think. You can get a bend right there. You can get a bend right there. But ultimately, you're still going to hit right in that elbow area. So not as much as you might think. Hands, you get the rotation as we discussed earlier. And then you get the in and out. So you can bring them in that far and then out to the chainsaw blade. All right, coming down here, this is the shoulder pad I popped out earlier, and this thing does not want to play well with others now. So, yep, there you go. Hey, there's a better look at it. So there you can see that little hook with that ball and everything that's going on in there. We're just going to leave that off for illustrative purposes. So there you go. Rotation, and then bicep rotation there. Hey, look, that helps. That covers it all. All right, coming down here to the waist, you do get a little bit of an ab crunch. So you can go down about that far. You can go back even further. And then you do have rotation right there at that waist or that upper ab area. Coming down here to the hips, you're pretty limited here. There's not a lot you're going to be able to do because they're just on these balls right in there. So as far as the splits go, yeah, there you go. That's what you're going to get. You can go all the way around. So depending on how high you say he wants to kick, it's really just a matter of swinging that all the way around on that ball. So not a big fan of the hips. That's also where your rotation takes place. So everything happens on that ball in there. I do find it to be fairly limiting, unfortunately. So it's kind of a bummer. Coming down here to the knees. So the same thing. You've got two joints here, but you're not going to really take advantage of much unless you want to chicken leg the guy. So you have that ability, but once you bring that up, you can see where that's just hitting, and yep, that's all you're going to get right there. That's it. So yeah, not much else you can do there, but you can definitely chicken leg him if you want, or you can bring him up like that. Totally up to you, however you want to do it. All right, coming down here to the feet. So feet, you can get about that far down, and you can get about this far up. So very little movement there, just a few degrees. You do have this ball in here as well, so it's kind of an all-encompassing whatever you can do with it. So if you want to call this an ankle tilt, you can do that, but it's coming out at an angle, and then you can get a little bit of a spin on that foot as well. So you're kind of limited as far as that goes, which is a little disappointing. I've also found that this leg over here, the right leg, is a little loose. So that's going to hinder you a little bit as well if you're experiencing the same problem as me. So overall details look really good. The articulation is wanting on this figure. I think he's just going to be a little difficult to pose, but once you find the pose you like, he's going to look really good on your shelf. So now that we've got all that out of the way, there's really no sense talking about accessorizing here, because you've got a fisty hand and then a scratchy hand, and then you could swap them out. So that's really it for the accessories. So what we'll do now is we'll just jump right into those comparisons and take a look from there. For our first comparison, and for absolutely no good reason at all other than the fact that I wanted to use him, here we see Obsidian Fury next to the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Commander 6-inch figure, so you can get an idea of scale there. Here he is next to Johnny Silverhand from the Cyberpunk video game. It wouldn't be one of my reviews if I didn't find a way to bring a Transformer into it, and I thought this might make sense because the Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock here is a pretty good stand-in for a kaiju. At least that's the logic I'm going with here, so there you go. And for our final comparison, this is the battle-damaged Gypsy Danger Jaeger. And if the scale is accurate here, you can see just how much bigger Obsidian Fury is than that Gypsy Danger Jaeger. So yeah, I can see he would definitely be able to cause some damage to any kaiju that want to come over to our plane of existence and try to take over. Alright, that's going to do it for the comparisons. Let's go ahead and get into those final thoughts. So there you have Obsidian Fury from the Pacific Rim series from Diamond Select Toys. And yeah, I gotta say, I really like the way this figure looks. Absolutely amazing on the shelf. But playing with the figure, trying to pose the figure, a lot of the fun is lost there. But let's go ahead and kind of dive into it here real briefly, and we'll start with the aesthetics. Absolutely beautiful figure. I love the way he looks, especially for the price point. I mean, this is a really nice figure that you get as far as looks go. Great shelf presence. This matte color with just a little bit of sparkle or glitter or something in it. It's almost like I said earlier with that black and that silver, kind of a little Black Panther-esque as far as the way he looks. Great sculpt work, great attention to detail. The paint is well done. Absolutely looks wonderful on the shelf. So no major complaints there as far as the overall aesthetics go. That's definitely where he shines. Articulation is a different story. The articulation is frustrating. So you can get him in some poses, but you're really limited in those legs because of that single ball joint that does everything at the hip. Also, you have limited movement in those feet, and you really gain nothing out of all the double joints that they have for the elbows and the knees. I mean, you're going to get 90 degrees of movement, and I'm thankful for the 90 degrees, but man, double joints, you'd like to think you could get a little more of that, but it's just the way they've got this guy sculpted. So the articulation is definitely a weak point here. You're going to struggle to find a good pose for this guy, but once you do, he looks fabulous. Nothing really to talk about here on accessories. He comes with an extra set of hands, so there you go. Fists or open hands getting ready to slash something. Not much else to say there. His chainsaws look great, but I don't really call those accessories. That's just part of the figure. Overall quality on the figure is okay. I do have the right leg is a little bit loose in the knee area there, and that right shoulder pad just wants to pop off even when I look at it. It's just, I don't know if it's once you've got it popped off, the seal's broken and then it's just never going to fit right again. But my left shoulder pad I don't seem to have as much problem with, but the right shoulder pad is just really annoying and frustrating. Really limits my ability to pose the figure as well, because if I even think about moving that right arm very much, that shoulder pad's going to pop off. So that's kind of annoying. So just buyer beware on that. Overall value, depending on where you get this guy. So I picked this figure up at a local toy shop. So this wasn't a name brand retail store or anything like that. This was just a local toy shop that I picked him up. I thought the price was agreeable there. I wouldn't quote this price as the gospel, but I paid $25 US for it at a local toy shop. Your price may vary depending on where you find him, whether it be online or in person, and what store that's at. So I can't really speak to that. But for me, I think the $25 was pretty good. Sid and I, we don't have a lot of figures as far as the Pacific Rim line go, but this one definitely looks great. You know, we have Gypsy Danger and one other Jaeger that we have Obsidian Fury sitting beside, and out of the three, he definitely has the best shelf presence. Just looks absolutely gorgeous. So with that, that's going to wrap the review up. I think that if you can find this guy, if the price is good, you'll enjoy him. Just know going in that he's going to be a pain in the butt to pose, and hopefully you don't have the same quality issues that I do. So with that, that's going to be the end of the review. I hope you guys got some good information out of this. I hope it was entertaining, and if you haven't already done so, please be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment if you want. And if you wouldn't mind doing another favor, if you think this video or this channel is something that other people would be interested in, please feel free to share the channel or share that video. We'd love to spread the word about the channel, and also any gospel we can spread as far as getting people involved in Transformers, NECA figures, just toys in general. It's always more fun for all of us. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. It's the end of the review. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.